everyone, it's Stephanie here with a video for My Favorite Things. In today's video, we're going to be doing some coloring with some colored pencils, or pencil crayons like we like to call them in Canada. And I'm going to be using the Funky Flowers stamp set to do all of my stamping before I start to do the coloring. So I went ahead off camera and created some masks, so you saw them kind of attached there to the back of my stamp pocket. And we're going to be using those masks to be able to mask off the flowers as we stamp, because we're going to create a cluster of flowers in the center. So I'm going to be stamping on Strathmore toned gray paper. This is just a paper that you can get in any kind of local craft store. I really love coloring on this paper with colored pencils. It is very thin, but I don't mind that at all just because I'm just adhering it to a card anyway. But if you want and you don't have this paper, you can just color on kraft cardstock. It works almost the same. I just really like the coloring of this paper because it has more of a gray look than a brown look. So what I did is I have that little piece of paper there to the left, and what that is it's just kind of a really quick stamped template kind of that I created. So I kind of know where I want to stamp my images as I'm going along here. So I just took a scrap piece of white paper and did a bunch of stamping. I didn't worry about masking it because it's just kind of for me to refer to do the stamping. And now I'm just kind of taking all of these flower stamps and following that same pattern on my actual piece of paper here that I want to color on. So I'm using the Misti stamping tool to do all of my stamping so that I can double stamp the images or re-stamp them if I don't fully get them stamped. So you can see there with that flower image, I didn't get the one piece there at the bottom, so I was able to quickly re-stamp that with no issues because I'm using the stamping tool. You definitely don't need this. If you don't have one, you can just use an acrylic block to do all of the stamping. And I do want to apologize if the video looks a little bit darker than normal. I didn't realize until I had completely filmed the entire video that I didn't have one of my lights on. And you'll see at the end that I did quite a bit of coloring on here, so I didn't want to redo the entire thing. So hopefully you can see everything no problem. So I'm just continuing on here and doing all of my stamping and using my mask to kind of cover everything up. And I am kind of stamping one side first and then going on to the second side. That way I can reuse the masks that I have created and I don't have to create a whole ton of masks to do all of the stamping. So I'm just kind of moving things around, figuring out where the stamps are going to go, kind of based off the template there that I have beside me. And then I'm just doing all of the stamping with the same black ink. For the inking, I'm doing black licorice dye ink. I am just going to be coloring with colored pencils, so I don't need to worry about having an ink that is permanent like the hybrid ink because we're not using any markers or anything. So now this is when the magic happens. This is my favorite part. I'm removing all of the masks and I'm going to be left with this beautiful cluster of flowers. You can see there. They have a really nice bold black outline and it looks like one complete stamp that we used here. So I've went ahead and picked out a color palette of different colors of pencils here, and I'm going to kind of work in the same color area all over the stamped image. So I'm going to do all the leaves first, and then I'm going to move on and do the different flowers. So I will list all of the pencil colors that I am using in the description box below in case you want to know exactly what colors I'm using. All of the pencils are Prismacolor pencils except for one. I'm using one Faber-Castell PolyChromo as well, so I will list that one too. So there's lots of different ways that you can use your colored pencils when coloring a design. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to start off with my lightest color and I'm going to kind of do a base coat of that lightest color. And I decided to go around the entire image and do the base coat color on all of the different flowers so I know exactly what colors are going to be where. Once I have this base coat of color down, then I'll take the additional colors that I have in each color family and I'll add the depth and detail by adding some darker coloring. So like I mentioned, I like to do the first coat first, just kind of do a light coloring on the base of the image. And then I'm going to go in with my darkest color and start to add some detail. And as I do this, I tend to press harder down onto the images to kind of really make that pencil kind of like have a really smooth look to it. You definitely don't have to do this if you don't prefer this look on your images. If you want to kind of have the colored pencil lines showing when you do your coloring, you just want to use a lighter hand and that will help to provide that type of look. So it's just completely optional, depends on what you prefer. But I really like the look of the really smooth blended pencil look. But you do want to keep in mind if you are coloring with a firmer hand that you will end up with what they call wax bloom with these type of pencils because they are wax based. And all that kind of means is that it's going to prevent you from adding additional color once you get a ton of layers kind of put down on the paper there. So you just want to keep that in mind as you're doing your blending and adding all of the different shades of the color in there. So I'm just going to go ahead now and continue to color all of the flowers, adding my darkest color into kind of the base area of the flowers and the leaves, and then using my medium and my lighter color to blend all of the color out. I did leave all of the coloring in the video because I know some of you do like to see the process from start to finish. So I'm going to throw some music on while I continue to color this. It is super sped up, but it did still take a little bit of time. So I'll throw the music on and then I'll meet you back here once I have the image fully colored and we can assemble the card. Okay, so now that we have all of the coloring done, we have this really pretty floral kind of bouquet here in the center of the card with some really vibrant dark colors. So now I'm going to put everything together onto a card. So I took the Blueprints 24 Dynamics die set and I used the stitch rectangle from that set and cut out the panel so it has a nice finished edge. And then I'm just layering it onto a piece of tropical teal cardstock, which is cut slightly larger than that panel, just to give a little bit of a mat around it. And then I've scored and folded a piece of grout gray cardstock to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches so that we have a standard A2 size card. So I'm just using my tape runner and adding adhesive to the finished panel, and I'm going to adhere this directly to the card. If you do want some extra dimension on this because it is all one layer, you can definitely use foam adhesive on the back of this panel before adhering it to your card base. So I'm just going to center that up and add it to the front there. And now it's time to add a sentiment to the card. So I wanted to use the label sentiments. I really love these. I think they look really great on this type of an image because I really love how bold the black label is against all of the kind of bright colors that we have in the background. So I'm just using my Misti tool and doing the stamping there. I'm doing the happy and the birthday, and using the Misti once again allowed me to do a double stamp so I get a really nice solid black image. And then rather than use the coordinating dies, I just use my scissors and cut around them so that they don't have any white edge. And then I'm going to add a little bit of black marker around the edges to kind of finish it off. And then I adhered them directly onto the card with some foam adhesive. I really love how they look layered over those flowers. And then to finish the card off, I did add some clear sequins with some silver stickle centers. And then I'm also adding a little bit of detail to some of the leaves and the flowers by adding some white gel pen. This just kind of adds a nice highlight to the image and just really makes it look finished. And then once I have that done, the card is finished and we have this really beautiful, really brightly colored floral image in the center of our card as the focal point. So thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, if you would like a chance to win a $20 gift card to the MFT online store, please leave a comment on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will announce the winner in next week's episode of MFTv. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.